Hello, this is Truth Be Told Transformation, and I'm Bonnie Burkert, here to share tools for transformation to live your highest truth. This is a special episode today. We're going to have a little bit of a different rhythm. We're taping this on post-election in the United States, and without getting into any specifics, my heart's broken. And I woke up in the morning thinking, how do I want to handle this? And it occurred to me that I wanted to connect with somebody we had on several weeks back, earlier this summer, Josh Reichmann. And I've had a chance to do some studies with Josh since that time and listen to him do other talks. And this is a man who I feel is very present, pulls from studies of his Buddhism traditions, Tibetan Buddhism traditions, and yet also from a higher plane, from a higher dimension. And I need some help, and I bet some listeners out there might want to hear it as well. Welcome, Josh.
Hi, thanks for having me, Bonnie. It's
a crazy day. Josh was burning some sage before we got started, and I felt it coming right through the camera. It was just like, exactly. So, Josh, you said you've been doing some work with people. I felt like, I've seen you work, and when we did our interview before, you lock and load. It just comes through you, and I just wanted to say, you got any words for me living here? I mean, I'm fortunate to live in California, but I'm a little confused about what just happened. I believe in love, and I feel like we've slid backwards. Help me out.
well, so there's obviously people that would be really good at creating levity, or maybe like a frequency of distraction, or maybe channeling the repulsion or fears that people have and echoing it back. I certainly could do that for fun, like some kind of sacred clown, or ridiculous fool, or something. Or I could offer, or someone could offer people bombs, like some platitudes, or trite things that also don't do anything. Or we could work with the truth, which is the way through. So if you're an addict, if you're sick, or if you're in a toxic relationship, like we all are, with systems, people, structures outside of our control, so we feel helpless or powerless or whatever, or with parts of ourselves that we feel, why is this happening? Why do I happen to me? Or why does this happen to me? Or why again, or whatever. There's deeper levels of devastation because of the confusion. And this is my experience, like with myself. It's not like abstract. But so we know that, right? So let's apply that, getting to acceptance, which would be the first way. And I'm not saying you have to accept, don't put his face in your mind. Don't do anything like that. Just acceptance as an energy. So hold on. Like, stop. Like, and it's a little early for that. So first, debate, wrestle, whatever, reject. Maybe we need to commiserate in the muck a bit. So these are like normal psychological process. These are healthy things. But what it says to me is that people had, like we do with relationships, I want to be loved. And then when I realize I'm in a toxic dynamic with my government voting system, thing that I project power onto and wish for, hope to come from, like a partner. Oh, wait, I'm an anxious avoidant who really wants you but doesn't want you, and wants to get loved because I don't love myself. And then therefore, when I'm rejected, when I create the conditions thereby with the wrong partner to be rejected by them, I am once again alone. And therefore, I've self-fulfilled. Now, hold on. The way out of that is not to beat yourself up. What did I do wrong? What did the populace do wrong? Scale invariant. So self, grand selves. Let's just be real. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. And it's not the object's projected fault, or we're going to be connecting to a dark frequency. So hold on. So come back to center. Come back to center. Now you go, not yet. I'm being practical, Josh. I want to stay on the ground floor. This has repercussions for reproductive rights. Hold on, don't do that yet. What we have to realize is that we are in, here comes the one. Some of the listeners will already know this. Some will be like, dude, I want to go through, I want to stay in this reality. And I can join you there. I could talk macro, literal, ground politics. I could talk the technocratic systems and their hydra-headed faces in the duopoly. I can do it hardcore. So just assume that I can do it with you. But let's go above for a second, not to avoid, not to bypass. This is going to get us to acceptance. I'm working for you all. I'm working with you all. You invited me on. I'm going to do the show. I'm giving the show. Okay. Channeling this. We're in two things. We're in what they call Kali Yuga, a degraded age. Okay. I don't know why people think it's going to speed up towards a break where I don't know, like a socialism came to America and now it works harmoniously. Um, Healthcare, universal healthcare, I don't know. Or you go RFK, why did he do that thing? I like what he, whatever. Or for the Trump people, I know he's the object, but let's say for them, he's gonna uh, showcase the corrosion that was in this sort of Ben and Jerry's style fake neoliberalist. I'm giving you the portrait because people have very different perspectives, and I'm a Canadian, so Americans sometimes can't see it, but from our point of view, it all looks absurd. So here we go. The hope in pinning in the projections outward is part of Kali Yuga, the degraded age. It's this continuous looking for something in the outside. Now, you're a yogi. Now, and I know you're like, I'm a yogi, but I live in America and this has repercussions. I'm going to go in there with you in a second. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to the real stuff that you have a right to be angry about. I'm with you. I'm just saying, keep in perspective that acceptance will come when we realize, as spiritual practitioners, that for real, we're in a breakdown era. Not a little bit. Now, there may be someone after him in a couple years that looks like maybe, I don't know. I don't know what your listeners like, what they imagine the version to look like is that's hopeful. I don't think it's probably Kamala. Like, I don't think that's the apex of hope, but whatever it is that's even better than that. You know what I mean? Like, let's say it's the one where you're like, oh my gosh, remember the Obama feeling? By the way, he droned more people than anyone, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but let's get really real. Let's say it's
Truth.
someone really good though. Like they're really, really, really. It'll never in this era as this empire has its chickens come home to roost as just one feature of Kali Yuga in this world, it won't ever stabilize the way we grew up with pre 9/11 in terms of the mesmerizing dream returning to that. Okay, so relax into what we can control. Your life, the people listening, my life is navigated in much smaller circles. And you can affect change again and energize change with your family this moment with a lot of power and hope. And it'll ripple into your town and city and block again. And actually, you now have something to press against, which is often very good for people. They feel good with that. They get a lot of spiritual power from having an opposition. Mm-hmm. So you might like that in the coming days. You'll have a reason and a focus. I'm going to start there. I know we want stuff like the Pleiadians are coming to zap some blue light on us, and that actually he's not really that thing. But also for some people, remember how everything keeps changing. Isn't it weird? Like they were trying to shoot him recently, like whoever. Like stuff keeps changing.
Right.
That's also Kali Yuga, the chaos. So be a mast in the storm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's gonna keep going. So let's just come back to this. Do you want to let's do some stuff, but tell me how you feel though. I'm here for you.
Well, this is
Just
really helpful.
let it out.
No, it's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. And you're making me laugh. I was just catching myself laughing really, really hard. And I would have never thought that I'd be in a point of laughter today.
Okay, good.
And you're helping me, I think it was just saying, like, we're in Canada, so you looking down on us. Look,
Oh,
you saw the joke going around about like Canada's looking down at the U.S. like they're, tenants living above a meth lab in the apartment below or something like that. But
it's always like that.
Mass in the Storm, I mean, truly, I mean, you're showing us, you're showing me, and I'm sure all listeners, watchers, viewers, that that there is it's kind of a lot of it is very, very ridiculous. And I did, like I said, I'm not necessarily here to break it down as much as how to deal with something that looks so very, very grim, that's so dark. And you've given me some laughter already. I mean, there's some levity, and you've given us a specific tool: be the mast in the storm.
Yeah, imagine everyone listening slowed their lives down.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Not a little bit like, woo, I'm gonna do some deep breathing while I do the dishes. I don't mean that. I mean like really, 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 really stop. Stop. Get off of this thing. The mesmerization machine that is churning and churning our moods and emotions and speaking into these parasitical forms in us that wish to agitate, right? These beams of negativity and story and narrative that swirl inside of this mediated hall of mirrors that is really just reflecting the shadow. Because when you think about power, who controls the Senate? Who controls the government? Who controls the world? Whatever. Who controls your emotions? Who controls your thinking? You say, I do. And I know I'm angry. Really? You're choosing to be angry because it gives you what? What does it give you? It gives me righteous moral clarity. It gives me clarity of who's the enemy and who's not. So it gives me a binary world. Gives me hope because I know where I'm going if I know who's bad. Now I feel better about myself. Well, what's yourself? Well, I know what I'm not. I'm not that guy or those people. I don't know. Are you not that? What frequency, what quality are you holding in yourself? So what's happened in these times is that it's all projection. So people, oh, you're a narcissist. Well, you're the narcissist. These are the warmongers. No, they're the war party. This is impossible. It doesn't make any sense. That's not real. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do. Again, I'm laughing. I'm here laughing because you're right. You're helping me show just how ludicrous it really all ultimately is. And I don't know. You're helping me. I thought you'd have some words to help pull me, and hopefully the listener out of the weeds. I mean, deep down in it, we've been into the battling of it for only a couple months in this case, but it seems like ultimately years as well, as far as whatever we want to call the certain dark forces that exist around the current political lineup, right? Lineup, the show basically. But I knew you'd be able to pull us up higher.
Well, I don't need to go high. I just think people should get real. We live on Earth. We live on Earth. We're Earthlings, right? You come from the stars. You're like star beings that long ago consciousness you know, throughout the cosmos started emanating out of these pre-hominids, and then these very sophisticated, uh, really well-developed bodies, energetic bodies, conscious bodies with psyches. And these beings were very, very complex in Atlantean time, whatever, like ancient, beyond ancient civilizations with connection to psychic capacities, um, wisdom of the underworld, of ancestors, of protection beings, animism, the alive cosmos, the living planet, listening. And before that, obviously, even deeper connection to the elements. Yeah. And then that is the inheritance of humanity that is reawakening on Earth right now. So the American empire of the eagle is combating the dragon and snake of the East. These are energies connected to polarity. Who is put in front of us on TV to represent a feature or face of essentially the same thing? Do you think that war, the petrodollar, fiat money, the sort of pharma, technocratic, militaristic system, extraction system that takes minerals and gold from the planet to create Big Macs and phones and SUVs and television sets. Like, this is not going to change because of micro policy shift based on the different puppet master. Maybe some judges will get elected and then there'll be some problems, like real things. I understand the fears with real social issues. I think they're exaggerated either way. I think chaos reigns inside of power. So you could take a second and go back to that lineage, the human lineage. There's something big happening on Earth. We're evolving and waking up. A yogi is not here to find just a gentle, warm bath in this life. Is to wake up their human nature and their cosmic nature. If you're spiritual because you stretch and do yoga, people who listening, or you meditate, or you pray, or you listen, or maybe you see ghosts, maybe you see 11:11 on the clock, or whatever, you throw tarot cards, or maybe you go to church. You're hungry for reconnection to your nature, and your nature is more brilliant and amazing than we've been allowed to experience. So a yogi is someone who wakes up to their nature. So don't let this little moment in the empire change your practice. As one woman, big yogi, said, if I go to hell, I'll make it my paradise. To be really real about this, you're on the path with awakening humanity, watching things come and go, ebb and flow. Is that okay?
Yes, I love that. If I go to hell, I will make it my paradise. I mean, it's basically wherever you go, there you are. So I think,
And what will you make it perception wise? Now, I'm not talking about bypass, like, let's be real. There could be things that affect you based on this. Um, there's also there was a big hurricane that's affecting people. There's, real stuff happens. And then they where's their practice during that? Or when you get a divorce or something.
sure.
So there's always stuff, but our practice is that stay soft and open and present, and you'll come back to your power when we stop obsessing over external things.
Well, very helpful. Very, very, those are
Yeah.
very key points because I mean, that was one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you is because of certainly your purview of all of this, right? I knew I knew you'd have. I mean, we had spoken about the Kali Yuga, these grand ages, and these times of change, right? So I know that we had spoken about that, and I wanted to kind of see your assessment of how this fits into sort of the chaos. And I'm definitely with you that regardless of what happened with the outcome of the election, I knew it was going to be very, very chaotic. Right? I mean, it was never going to be smooth sailing. And I am a person, Josh, that believes that everything happens for a reason. I'm sorry, it sounds so cliche. I mean, just put
No,
me,
it's
but
true.
at the same time, I think it's acceptance. I think
Hmm.
it's a form of acceptance, neutrality. I mean, you got to be in the world, but not of it. All of
Yeah.
these different ways of playing. And so I just was very, very rattled, and I thought that I wanted to touch base with somebody who's got a fascinating, and beautiful way of helping one shift, accessing higher info, and yet being also very, very grounded in how to move through it
We're
all.
Thank you. We're gonna be okay. I mean, humanity is literally it's learning to sense more. We're accelerating our senses. So what happens when you accelerate your senses? It doesn't go in one direction towards the heavens, celestial realms. It goes downward as well. So everyone's shadow is exposed. So the light goes everywhere. And so that means all the systems try to hold on for dear life, and all the old stuff like old geriatric crazy power hungry guys from the last century or whatever. Like every version of old paradigm hunger comes to show its face. And it just what do you want to focus on, so that your own life is emanating, holding a frequency. What realm do you want to be in? What, like, we're meeting in this realm right now, but there's 100 trillion parallel realms right now where you and I could be meeting. I come to you in this realm to meet you where you are, but you could meet me in a different realm. We could meet each other in a different realm. It really depends on the tonal wave of your mind and the focus, the themes and objects in your mind. It just keeps changing. Everything is mind produced, it's all consciousness. So yeah, 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 whatever. I already know the quantum, da da da, but I have to go to work tomorrow and this will affect me. Okay. However strong your conviction is, you stay there and I'll see you again. And I hope you have a good lunch at the angry lunch bar. I don't know.
It's so true.
I'm no
It's
different. Look, I get rattled every time, like the war last year in the Middle East. Devastating for me because I have parasites and triggers in me that connect to those narratives. I have passions. These passions are like fires inside the body, and everyone got crazy, right? Like everyone has these opinions, and it's this really takes us out of our life. Like you have one life here as you. People are really intoxicated with a fantasy, even of rebirth. They think, oh, next life. Do you really know how precious your human life is? You could be in a fluorescent room saying, down with they have to take the fence down over there because my dog is, well, I don't know, can't get to the park properly. And okay, or these cups are too small. I don't know, like whatever people complain about. And you emanated and you rebirth as a human. You got consciousness with all this big feelings, and you have this ability to self-evolve because you're not an animal, you're a human, right? Oh, I like animals, I want to reincarnate as a bird next time. That seems nice. No, it doesn't. A bird is freezing cold, working on instinct, trying to protect its young and get food, and it fails and dies. A human has that can happen as well for a human, but a human has the ability to determine its consciousness and energy. So you got this precious human life, and it bums you out, bums us out. I'm not doing enough with it. You don't have to do anything. It's about what state of mind you want to be in. Right. So your consciousness can evolve, can get closer to its nature, Buddha nature, its pure nature. And then you did something with your precious human life. The empire has been around forever. The clown show has been around forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do. And it's funny because there was part of me that wanted to get kind of whiny in
Go
the
for it.
initial
Get it
part of
out.
it.
I'll hold it.
Well, it's
Go,
just like there's.
Trump. Go, Trump bad. Ooh, do it. Let's
I
go.
don't have to go specific. I'm going broad. They're so
Okay.
mean. They're so mean and bigoted. And it's that. And it's just, again, I said it at the top of the show. I believe in love and hate one. The party of mean, nasty, lie, cheat one. What do I do with that? I mean, what do I do as somebody that, I don't know, maybe it sounds Pollyanna, but I just believe that I'm still going to be me. I'm going to be my light, shiny self, and it's all going to work out. I had doubts about that. I'm feeling better now that we've spoken, I will say.
You're right. You're right to believe in love, and you're right to believe in good people, because when you walk around, you see, like, maybe you see grumpy people and a couple crazy sick people, but maybe you see a lot of selfish people. Oh, wait, maybe you don't see all good people. Okay, wait. Then you see some good people, and then there's someone really cool, and they're so nice. Like, they say this nice thing down by the boardwalk, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love your dog." And you're like, "I love my dog too. Do you love dogs? I love dogs." And then you have this great moment. You're like, people are nice. And you have no idea about their politics, but they're super nice. And you're just like, "Yeah, yeah, people are nice." And then the ocean is going like, and you're like, "Wow, humans, I can't believe humans." You see some other little family, and a kid goes like, and then you see people from all walks of life. They came in a caravan, or they're any skin color, or you see someone you don't even know their gender, and you're like, whatever. They're hugging someone, and their eyes look sensitive, and you go, ah, human beings with their broken hearts just living, and you're like, love wins, like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I think that that's what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah, totally. It is
And
supposed to be like.
yet, and yet we are tribal. And yet I think we experience sort of this weird, it's almost like a sports team, right? Red
Oh
versus
yeah.
blue, blue versus red.
Well,
United
are you
States.
angry? Do you feel anger in you? Are
I
you?
did throw something at one point earlier today.
So then,
So yeah, I had a moment. I haven't really, I haven't really had too much time. Sure, I've had some conversations, lots of texts, lots of thrown around memes.
what do people say? What are people gonna do? They're just angry. They're venting right now. What are
Oh
your
no, everyone's
friends?
going to move to Canada,
We have our own versions of all this, by the way.
as does
Like,
Europe, which is, the other choice of places to move, which by the way, it's not that easy to just up and move. And wherever you go, there you are, ultimately, right?
that's yeah. I love you. Have a really good radio voice. Obviously, like when you join our groups, I'm always amazed that your voice is the same here, and then when you attended my groups, your voice is the same there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really like she's got it. This is cool.
It's important to be able to communicate, and I'm right. I mean, at this point, we're talking on the phone or Zooming or whatever all the time. So anger, I just it's not. I can't be angry enough, Josh, to fix anything.
Hmm.
Like no amount of anger and despair, and I mean, Tony Sweet and I were talking about it when I walked in. It's like basically hell has descended, but at the
That what
same.
it feels like in America? Do you really feel that? Are you like I'm sorry, it's like is it like what's gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen?
Honestly, I'm going with consciousness. I'm going with the ugly. I'm like, how did the ugly win?
Oh,
Mean, ugly and mean win. That's the
ever
heartbreak.
see? Do you ever see spiritual people who are fans of his and stuff? Like you see that, right?
Yeah, a handful.
What do you think of that?
That's
Like, what do you?
equally nauseating. I don't
It's
understand
confusing.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what becomes very hard? It takes me out of my, a higher place, that place of being, I mean, if I'm a yogi, one, neutrality, and two, sort of non unconditional love. And yet I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with that.
No, it's okay. I mean, there's things to be angry about. It's just people have these different perspectives on things and yeah.
Yep.
So
And I think there's some
that
fear.
goes.
I think there's
It,
fear of the future, is what it could look like. But I know you're not going to, I'm not asking you for answers there.
oh, okay.
I'm talking to you about how to channel this information,
Hmm.
to take this in and process it. And that, when you asked what are people saying, there's a
Hmm.
lot of that. There is a lot of processing. There's not finger pointing necessarily. It's not like they stole it. None of that is going on. Words that I'm hearing repeatedly: gutted, processing, and how do we become expatriates
Yeah.
are the general response. I personally have been heads down coming into the studio, preparing to come into the studio and bring shows. I mean, I've done a triple header today of you're one of two other interviews along with two other interviews today, and I choose to continue to put the light out there to shine on, as I say at the end of my show.
Yeah, you're great at that. And that is the way. The thing to do every moment is the real thing to do is in like say you're getting a divorce or something terrible happens or something kind of annoying happens even or a car pulls us a car pulls in front of us or whatever the body is like erupted in the nervous system is rattled and a sense of injustice takes over because our boundary has been crossed so the collective boundary of probably a lot of people has been crossed. So their moral landscape or whatever, their view of how their the world they want is broken down, and then they're starting to create stories about what to do, like pull in front of the car and attack the car, or never drive again, or pull over and just go cry or whatever. Um, and that makes sense because the nervous system and the mind is doing a whole bunch of stuff fast. So I said slow it down at the beginning of the
Yeah.
interview because everyone listening should, if they're hurting because of their beliefs, their vision of a nation or country or their morality or what they see law, jurisprudence, I don't know. I can, like I said, I could go all the way to I understand. I'm not like patronizing that. I don't feel connected the same way, to this one. And maybe you're like, well, then who are you? But maybe I'm a good person to help then. Um, is to say if you're feeling all that with compassion, bring yourself to a lying down position, stop, come out of this nightmare from your side and take care of your body. If you're having a nightmare, just lie down and breathe really deeply and realize you're a human being having your precious human life and take some breaths, calm down because your country needs to calm down. Guys are crazy. Guys are crazy. I was just in Austin for a month. And I mean, like where I am, Toronto's big, crazy city, but maybe more tense. But Americans, I love you Americans listening, but it's really crazy. It's really like there's a craziness. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I'm telling you, I don't know how to explain it. We all know, the whole world knows. By the way, Americans, quietly, the entire world loves you and is also like, even individually meeting you is like, there's still something just crazy there. Like it's this myth you live inside of. It's the empire. You live in the empire. And so you live inside a very strange myth that's really powerful. I love it. I'm American. My family live in America. I get it. But the myth is driving you crazy.
More than ever.
Yeah, more than ever. But just so take a minute from your myth. Like, you can't see out of it. I know people listening are like, who are you to talk, buddy? But listen, I'm telling you, you're in a myth. Even the best parts of the myth, even the part of you that thinks you're seeing the myth, you're not actually seeing what I'm talking about. I'm telling you like a doctor. You can't see it. You live inside a strange hall of mirrors where you guys are really powerful, really fun, really dynamic, really creative, and really insane. Like really, really insane. Like other countries are insane too. Like other cultures. Go to Europe. Like I don't think Americans know where they are when they're in Europe. I watch them. I watch them like, wow, look at this thing. They keep consuming. They're on an American code bandwidth. Even the ones from sophisticated cities and stuff that have read all the magazines and know where they are, they're still off. They're not jamming. It's so weird. Guys live in a magical Disney bubble. You live in a bubble, a magic bubble. It's really cool. We love it. Please send us more music. Please send us more grief and powerful stories and all the murdering movies. And, crazy people. I love you. I'm American. Don't get me wrong. But I'm half. So I'm looking in. You're living in a myth. You're living in a myth. It's a story. And your story just got kooky. It's always kooky. You guys, Transformers more than meets the eye. It's all Transformers. You guys make Transformers. Why'd you make that show? That's crazy, by the way. Technology coming from another planet to like reassemble itself on your planet. That's America. That's what kind of stories you tell. Sorry, I'll stop.
No, don't. It's so great. It feels so good to laugh. Like I just feel so good to laugh. Thank you. It's really, really amazing perspective. And I'm going to wrap this up because you've been very generous with your time. And I know that you've got others that probably need you. So any part, any closing words. We definitely want to, outro to let people know where to find you. JoshuaReichmann.com.
Yeah, if I didn't alienate you with any of that, and hopefully I uplifted or annoyed, but at least it distracted you from a moment and you get to purge some of the strange feelings. That's what I came to do. Yeah, you can go to JoshuaReichmann.com. I do Akashic reading, and if you are having a spiritual or Kundalini awakening and stuff like that, I help integrate and work with people and do channeling. So, but Bonnie, thank you for having me again.
No, it's been amazing. Oh, Joshua, your book also, we want to say, The Realized Light of the 12 Dimensions, Cosmic Rebirthing and Our Celestial Destiny. So
yeah, you can get it at Barnes and Nobles and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Joshua Reichmann with 2 N's, by the way. Parting words, Josh. I feel better. I will tell you that right now.
Parting words are, I feel better. Those are my parting words because all I know is I feel better.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. So much needed. And let's do it again soon.
Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Peace, love. All right, everybody. Well, truth be told, transformation. I hope it's provided some transformation for you in all of this. Don't forget, Tony's on Fridays at 3 p.m. Tony Sweet, come say hi to the community, as well as Robert Hensley, and weekly episodes from Queer from the Other Side. Please like, please love, please share what we're doing here. Club Paranormal Network. We are also on podcasts as Truth Be Told Paranormal. Until the next time, I've said it once, I'll say it again. It hasn't been an easy task today, but we're going to keep going on, and we're going to keep shining on. Thanks, everyone.